welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. All right. I want to say thank you to everybody that made Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut watch party on my platforms. That made that watch party a success. It was really, y'all really were, the engagement commentary. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for engagement. Thank you for the support. Moderators, thank y'all so much too. And let's get into it. All right. Congratulations to Shedeur Sanders for a historic win. And what do we mean by historic? Well, apparently, a rookie quarterback for the Browns had not won their debut game, like their first official NFL game as a rookie, since 1994. That's a long time. So I remember people said Shedeur probably wouldn't win, and because nobody else had. And I was like, yeah, but what they got to do with Shedeur? Turns out, not only did he win that game, he had his first passing touchdown. And honestly, Jerry Judy catching hell on the internet like we thought he would. And why is this? Because he set himself up. He really did. Jerry Judy really set himself up. Shedeur to Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson did what Jerry Judy refused to do. Score. Run the ball in for a touchdown because Shedeur would get the credit. Now, I want you to understand something. It was obvious. It was obvious with the two Wildcats back-to-back that there was a plan, a plot. And I can't figure out at this point, but I think I'm starting to see who it is Haslam is playing, right? Because he back there somewhere. Just because you don't see him don't mean it's his team. And then he's not going to just let it run rogue and have his team trashed without him being involved. And he's not going to let Andrew Berry, according to his own free will, override the other NFL owners, the other 31, or including Haslam, 32, that was like, he's not getting drafted. Understand there's no way Andrew Berry could do that, okay? So knowing that that's the case, Haslam had a lot to do with not drafting Shedeur, pivoting away from Shedeur, allowing Stefanski to draft Dylan, allowing Stefanski all offseason to neglect Shedeur, to prevent him from working with the ones so he would be comfortable in the event that he got into the game. Now, Shedeur has handled this way better than people twice his age, right? And we talked about that. I said it. I said, I'm not joking when I say Shedeur is better than me. Because, I think I would have found some goons, honestly, after Jerry Judy. And to see Jerry Judy try to hug Shedeur on the side was the grossest thing I've ever seen. I said, this whole situation with Stefanski not being fired yet, Shedeur being set up in the game, was to expose the snakes. We already knew about Stefanski, right? But nobody thought that Jerry Judy would sell out Shedeur Sanders so he don't get a touchdown. And I just want y'all to know, I do not believe for 1 second that Tommy Reese called those two Wildcat plays to prevent Shedeur from having a touchdown in his stat sheet. I don't believe that the two Wildcats and the pass that he didn't drop the pass that Jerry Judy caught, the 39-yard pass, which was a beautiful pass that Jerry Judy caught and chose to stop running. The three of those together, two Wildcats and Jerry Judy, highlighted that there was sabotage at play by the Browns against their own quarterback. Understand that's collusion, number one. Two, the fans ought to be pissed. The fans ought to be upset because they were forced and tortured having to watch Dylan play with people just making excuses, insisting that Dylan was better than Shedeur. Ain't no way, bro. And at this point, I don't even know how Dylan made it through Oregon. I really don't. He's not a good quarterback, and people were being tortured, and their loyal fan base was being convinced that, oh, it's because he's a rookie. They knew he was an undrafted free agent. They let Kevin Stefanski draft him and overpay him and draft him before Shedeur to block Shedeur, whether they got him or not. And you saw what happened when they got him, right? And I said earlier, I said, I think Shedeur got an ally. And I saw the video. I saw Andrew Berry give Shedeur a hug in the locker room. Now, earlier in the game, we learned that Andrew Berry was the reason that Deshaun Watson showed up in street clothes. He wanted him to come. He wanted him to come to Vegas, and he wanted him to work with Shedeur. And we saw him on the sideline with Deshaun very comfortably telling Shedeur what was going on. And Shedeur was listening, and that's when Shedeur threw that pass to Jerry Judy. I think it was after that. And what happened? Jerry Judy caught that pass, and he could have ran in just like Dylan Sampson and chose to stop. You know what they are calling that touchdown? One of the worst plays in NFL history. Do you know how much Jerry Judy's contract is? His contract was extended last year at the same time Kevin Stefanski's was. Not a coincidence. $54 million. He wasn't good before that. He was not even their leading receiver. And yeah, they tried to get him to be the company man with Dylan. Now Jerry Judy need to ask himself. He ran 1,100 yards, true enough, last year, right? So maybe he earned $54 million. I don't know. But he needs to ask himself, did I really get paid $54 million because I'm good? Or just like they knew they needed an O-line last year and didn't get one, and they knew who was coming out of school, did I get paid to be a company man? If my contract wasn't guaranteed, is it suddenly going to become guaranteed quietly? Here's the question. Was Jerry Judy bribed? And I'm dead ass serious. Was Jerry Judy bribed or did he volunteer? Now, Darryl Reuter, who also said that's one of the most, the worst plays in NFL history, guess what he also said? And I guess we missed it. He said, this is the third time that a Browns receiver just stopped running a route mid-play. He said it was Jerry Judy and Tillman. They both only had one reception. And out of the one reception they both had, we saw Jerry Judy. I saw Tillman, but I didn't look that hard, I guess. Maybe because Jerry Judy's was more noticeable. But we knew Jerry Judy did that last game too. So it's not an accident. So here's the question I'm asking to y'all. Knowing that the two Wildcats were used to rob Shedeur of an opportunity to have a passing touchdown on his stat sheet twice. Knowing that Jerry Judy's drop pass came after that. Knowing that, according to Darryl Reuter, O.C. Tillman did the same thing. Knowing that they are veterans. And what did Tommy Reese say? Shedeur was going to be throwing to people he was comfortable with, and he was familiar with, because they wanted the rookie to be uncomfortable. So I'm like, why would you have Shedeur practicing with the ones, but you out here got him throwing to the threes and the twos or whatever, right? Dylan Sampson is a three. Harold Fanning Jr. is a starter, I do believe. Quashawn Junkins is a starter. But Dylan Sampson is actually a three and need to be on somebody's team as a one. I think he must run a 4-4 flat. Some of the other guys, Isaiah Bond, I thought he was a starter. I didn't see him really throwing to too many people outside of that. Gage didn't really get out there. So I don't know if that was Tommy Reese's plan. And once Judy decided he was upset and let everybody know, and the media tried to twist it and say he had an issue with Shedeur being the starter. And I really didn't think that was the case. Did they take it upon themselves? According to Darryl Reuter, Tillman, we saw with our own eyes. Judy, did they take it upon themselves to try to hurt Shedeur's opportunity because they felt like they were going to be left out for some rookies? That's possible. Or were they bribed? Because I don't think it's a coincidence that these four activities happened when Shedeur could have scored. Y'all saw Isaiah Bond. He wanted that touchdown. And I felt like really Cleveland should have reviewed it, but maybe he was down at the one. Maybe. I don't know. I watched him again. and he had his legs locked stiff straight. So it wasn't his knee. It must have been another body part, but he definitely got that. He broke the plane for sure. And you could see it, like, wow, the angst that he didn't get it because he was so close. He ain't gonna do that no more, but he didn't do it on purpose though. And then Harold Fanning Jr., if you watch the play with Jerry Judy, Harold Fanning Jr. tried to go take the ball back from the Raiders once they got it. And he was like, man. See, that's what people who sell out their team, they hurt their teammates. They hurt their teammates. And if you were bribed into do it to go along with the two Wildcats, and then, I got the two veterans, stopping their routes, which is totally ridiculous. You run. You've been playing football long enough. Just keep running. Or did they take it upon themselves? I guess we're going to see what happened to Jerry Judy. And if his contract not guaranteed, wouldn't surprise me if Andrew Berry finds somewhere else for him to be. If Andrew Berry could get Deshaun, allow Deshaun to come, make the trip, which he didn't have to make, and he hadn't even practiced yet, cleared him to make the trip, wanted him to help Shedeur, went into the locker room, gave Shedeur a great embrace. I'm like, well, that's different, right? Because we hadn't seen Andrew Berry, because they was trying to fire him instead of Stefanski. So then you say to yourself, well, clearly Haslam is behind this, right? Because why would Haslam, let Andrew Berry do all of that if they wanted to fire him? And I said, well, you got to think about it. Today, after the press conference, Kevin Stefanski was what they call non-committal when he was asked about Dylan returning to the starter, or Shedeur being a starter, something about Dylan going to return when he clears protocol. I said, yeah. He also thought that Flacco was going to still be playing, but Flacco got benched for Dylan when they went to London. He thought a lot of things. And then Flacco left. He thought Flacco would be there. I know he said, I'm not making a change at quarterback. That was after Flacco lost a couple of games. And then there was a change at quarterback. And then right before this game, Daniel Oyefuse reported Dylan is cleared to practice or something. And that changed too. I said, okay, I see what happened to him. I see the politics, right? Stefanski think he have the control, and so do players who align with Stefanski against Shedeur. But the quiet one we haven't seen is getting his way quietly. Now, I know that they want the Manning kid, and they ain't changed their mind. Which means they need a quarterback for next year until the Manning kid come out. And I don't care if you trade Shedeur after that, because you ain't paying him franchise money. See, that issue got to be taken care of. And they know that. They know that. And they're not ready to concede and say they were wrong. They're not. But they know they need a quarterback next year, and they know they're between a rock and a hard place because they know their fans ain't playing, and they know the public has leaned in, and we ain't playing either, and they don't want that smoke. You know how I know they don't want that smoke? See, I told you, when I see your weakness or I realize what's going on, I got you. You know why Kevin Stefanski was being nice? Because he is a legal liability. You know why Kevin Stefanski, even though he kept calling that Wildcat once and twice and excluded Shedeur, but then you saw him talking to Shedeur on the sideline like he do that all the time, to try to redeem the negativity about him, discriminated against Shedeur. He don't give a damn. Who cares if he don't personally like Shedeur? That's not illegal. It's the discriminatory part, right? So this time, I had to give you first team reps after the last game because Shedeur said out loud, I didn't have first team reps. People did not like that. And now, you know what people don't like? You tortured us with this damn Dylan kid and lied to us and told us he was better than Shedeur. And that's the fans. And you paid him more money than you paid Shedeur. And now we sitting up looking like we colluded against Shedeur, but it was you the whole way. You told him God works in mysterious ways. God exposed Kevin Stefanski again today. He's not even supposed to be calling plays. And there's no way Tommy Rees, who said Shedeur was going to be throwing to people who came in with so he could be comfortable, called those Wildcats. That was Stefanski. And since I heard Stefanski be petty about the play calling going to Tommy Rees, I think Tommy Rees made a decision because he saw what happened with Jerry Judy. That is quite possible. And maybe he saw it with another player, or maybe he heard some things. And he's like, we just want to do what's best to make the player comfortable. And then Jerry Judy got upset. And then maybe Jerry Judy got his way with Stefanski, and because Stefanski is a control freak and was actually trying to undermine Tommy Rees anyway. One way Kevin Stefanski undermines Tommy Rees is because he keep that headset down and he constantly talking. He's telling you, I'm in control. What did I tell y'all about Kevin Stefanski? He gonna get everybody roped up. I'm right about that. Bucky was there today. Of course, y'all saw Coach Prime, but Bucky was filming ahead, and I did see Coach Prime in the tunnel. I also saw, after Shedeur threw that touchdown pass to Dylan Sampson, one of Shedeur's O-linemen, a white guy, pick him up like they used to do at CU and attaboy him. That was a great embrace in the locker room. I'm like, okay, so I got an O-lineman showing Shedeur love. He didn't have to do that. He could have just act like he ain't seen him. I got Andrew Berry getting his way, but not Stefanski not getting his way. Things he keeps saying he wants to do keep getting undone, so he's non-committal. Wouldn't surprise me if Andrew Berry trade Jerry Judy. See, they need a quarterback next year until the Manning kid comes. And what did I see today? I saw Shannon Sharp, who had been very, very critical of the Browns. I saw him speak well and, talk about Arch Manning and how good he looks. I'm like, oh, I guess he could maybe still come out of school. Here's the thing. I don't give a damn who you want to draft. Just like last year with Jackson Dart. But you don't have to hurt Shedeur. If you don't want Shedeur because you want a white quarterback, or you don't want Shedeur because you have a problem with Coach Prime, which I know that that's not it, trade him. But you don't get to say what Stefanski has said, that Shedeur is not any better than Dylan, that Dylan deserves this opportunity. Dylan didn't work for nothing. Shedeur earned everything, and it still was not given. After they said he has to come in and work hard and nothing will be given. Even when he worked hard, nothing was still given. Legal liability. Why are you singling him out? Discrimination. So now Stefanski all on the camera, the camera showing Stefanski talking. Why? Because the talking points were before the game. I mean, Shedeur has been in Stefanski's office every morning looking at film. Yeah, Shedeur took the initiative. Because how many times Stefanski going to brush him off and say no? How many times did he brush him off and say no? How many times was he not in his office so Shedeur couldn't watch film? It shows you how two-faced Stefanski is to sit up there and call them two Wildcats and talk to Shedeur like nothing. And then who else did it? Jerry Judy dropped that 39-yard pass when there was nobody in front of him. And they did all that for nothing because Shedeur still got a touchdown. We ain't say he had to have 3. We just know you shouldn't be robbing him with no damn Wildcat twice in a row. And then they try to run it again just to take him off the field, just to stick it to him. That's Stefanski. That ain't Tommy Rees. And now when we see what's going on with Jerry Judy and Darryl Reuter sees what's going on with O.C. Tillman, and you put them two together with the two Wildcats, I'm like, maybe that's why Tommy Rees was like, Shedeur going to be throwing to who's he comfortable with, meaning people he could trust. And I said that. I said, is it possible that Tommy Rees, they don't trust Jerry Judy? And here we go. Because he stopped his route last week. But it's the disgust for me that Jerry Judy and Kevin Stefanski would be all in Shedeur's face. I said, oh, they taking his godliness, his kindness. Shedeur waiting on God rather than revenge is mine, said the Lord. They taking that as a sign of weakness. One thing about the Sanders, they don't let on at all. And understand this, the toothpaste is out the tube. People on X, I have seen enough. I don't want to see no more from Dylan. None. I'm like, who wants to be tortured? Watching him play football was torture for them people. And the people with the brown bags, they ain't got to do that no more. Do you really think they gonna let two-face, backstabbing, Mr. Non-committal have any say about who the hell the quarterback is? He non-committal because he gonna have to go and talk to Haslam. Haslam, the one that was over there with the little kids with the 12 jersey on. That one. He did that for a reason. And guess what? Bucky was there when that happened, and Bucky was there today. So they had Bucky to come back. I saw Miss Constance up there. Bucky thanked her because that's who gets the connection. So she got some kind of foot in the door, right? We know she got a foot in the door, okay? Now, I don't know why you wasn't there last week. I would love to know. Bucky, if you ever see this, if you just want to say out loud why you weren't there last week, it would be really helpful to connect some dots. Thank you. Thank you in advance. Just blurt it out loud. Just act like you're just thinking, man, if I would have had to do this, I could have been there. I showed what I would have got the invite because that's all I need to know. Stefanski and Jerry Judy kissing up to Shedeur, thinking he weak because he ain't found some goons to beat them up yet, because he ain't popped off on them yet. Shedeur got enough people in his corner. He ain't got to ask nobody nothing. He got goons. Shedeur got people everywhere. He was actually telling that to Jordan Seaton in the video from the Miami game. Jordan, he was like, must have sent Jordan somewhere and they took care of him. And Jordan was like, how you know? He said, I got people everywhere. He does. And that's who they decided to rob. Somebody that got people everywhere. I want to ask Miss Pilar so bad if she's still friends with Jay Prince, because, if you know, you know. And if they are, those are set eyes too. And if you know, they get stuff back. They get stuff back. And they well connected too, because they ain't never been roped up. So they picking on him because they feel like Coach Prime not going to say anything because they think they got him over a barrel. It wouldn't surprise me if Shedeur was like, Dad, I got it. Just like Coach Prime was talking about going up there, and he said, well, just wait. And then Coach Prime went today, right? And I heard him talking, he calling him prime time to my prime time. They let him wait in the tunnel. I was like, I wish Miss Pilar get to do that, but she was there. She was there, right? She was there. And Shedeur got a lot of people behind him. And I said it earlier, 6 million people. You don't want that smoke. Because that's just what I think. I ain't talking about the general public. And the general public has weighed in before today, putting out posts that say, we rolling with Shedeur Sanders because when Black people often find themselves in white spaces, yada, yada, yada. You already know what follows after that. Black people in white spaces and what they have to endure. In other words, racism, discrimination. Now, that's the faction. That's the public. When you hear me say the public is leaning in, those people, they ain't even watching football. But they see what's going on with Shedeur because 6 million people talking about it. And you can't help but see it. So you look into it or you know about it because maybe somebody in your family, it could be a husband and maybe the wife watched football. Somebody came to me in my chat and said, my wife really loves you. I was like, thank you. And thank y'all. I appreciate it. Like that. Right? Indirectly supporting Shedeur Sanders. So there's the direct support, the Shedeurians, people from Colorado, NFL fans who were there before, who wanted to see this kid ball out, Browns fans, NFL fans on other teams, the people in all of these other countries that they done lured to come watch because they want to play in Paris or because they played in London or Berlin. And then there's just NFL fans who see what's happening to Shedeur, happening to Cam Ward, their quarterback. Cam is good. No, he shouldn't be run off. That's why Callahan got fired. The fans. And that noose. Legal liability. Because when have they cared what their fans think? They cared before the draft. Because they fans said it. If Will Levis is still the quarterback when we come back here, we're going to burn it down. So they drafted Cam. And then when Callahan was against Cam, they got rid of Cam. They got rid of Callahan. And then there's, what's his name from New York? Him. Already on the hot seat. The one that was the famous Shedeur that volunteered or was voluntold Then you see they fired him too, right? Guess who next? Now they might have to move a little different with him because he a Nepo baby. They know his father got the jobs he got in the NBA because of who he knew in the media. So they connected. Stefanski know where the bodies are buried. Whether he volunteered, they allowed him to do it, or he was voluntold, he know where the bodies are buried, and they got to handle him with kid gloves before they dispose of him. Why? See, this is how you know. Why would you have let Andrew Berry bring Deshaun out to help Shedeur when early on around the summer, Deshaun made a public statement he was taking Shedeur under his wing, and they was like, "You stay inside." Andrew Berry got him the opportunity to come back outside, to come to the game. He didn't have to travel, and to help Shedeur, and he was doing a damn good job of it on the side. That's Andrew Berry, the one that people was like, "Fire Andrew Berry." Haslam said they have to do better than last year. I think they only won 3 games last year. Somebody on X gave me some damn good insight about how Stefanski did Jameis Winston dirty. I'm like, wait a minute. I got Jameis Winston. I got Shedeur. I got Deshaun. And for Barry to get Deshaun back out there, Stefanski don't want that. So now you should be able to see a shift. Stefanski over here closest to the door. Barry financially does well for the franchise. He ain't overspending the money. He got Shedeur for $4 million. That still wasn't his idea. But the point is, when the phone call came through, you better make sure he get drafted. You see how other people was calling, and you see he traded up. And his brother, don't forget, is over there at Philly, and I think they traded with him. So he has connections, and he jumped up after the command, after what has him say the phone call came, and the right people were in the room. Okay, they wasn't talking about Andrew Berry. So somebody had to do something. So some people started calling around. See, this is the part they want to leave out. After that came, lawyers came. The people you never see. That middle group. I forgot what they call those people. Those people. Don't forget, the league's general counsel used to work for the White House. It was under Biden in 2023, but the point is they know each other. People on different sides of the aisle, they know each other. So when the command came, somebody got to do something. He had to get back on the board because they had taken him off. When that came, Baltimore, hey, you want to come over here? But there were instructions. Somebody get him, but make sure, he's not a QB1. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. That's why you had Philly, who already have a black quarterback. That's why you have Baltimore, who already have a black quarterback. Because when they chose strategically for Shedeur to be pre-drafted extensively, which he likely has evidence of, and that might be why he got robbed. When they pre-drafted him extensively after they decided to get Charles Woodson, who they got the year before, but didn't finalize it until this year to make it appear that I'm black people friendly. I got a black GM. Now I got a black limited partner. There's no way I'm discriminating to get this kid. That's all that was. That's all it was. Optics. Because look at how Stefanski is allowed to treat him. So if I come down here with these Hispanic kids that are not my relatives, and I buy them some jerseys, and when Bucky in town, I'm standing on the sideline like I'm always standing with my side. Yeah, I'm Shedeur Sanders friendly. That's him. That's Stefanski. That's what's happening. Yes, there was likely an ask. And yes, he probably jumped Stefanski at the chance to volunteer. But as the pressure is starting to get to Haslam's feet, and maybe his sponsor's like, hey, you're going to have to do something. We ain't finna be like Target. You're going to have to do something. Black people drink beer. White people drink beer too. Everybody not with this, right? So as the fire got to Haslam's feet, here come them kids with their photo. Oh, that ain't me. And then what happens? Dylan gets a phone call, they said, and the next thing you know, he concussed. I don't know what phone calls and concussions got to do. And I don't know how many people get a concussion to get a phone call from somebody that's not on the field. And it wasn't Tommy Reese. I mean, it could have been, but I don't think it was. I think Stefanski would have just told Dylan that, right? So who you think it was? The one out there with them 4 kids. So and that's what's key. That's why Stefanski's non-committal. Because he can't say what he want to do because they didn't reverse his position twice. But yet, he's still out here setting up Shedeur and everybody's seeing it. And then now you have Jerry Judy and according to Daryl Reuter, O.C. Tillman, and now it looked like Stefanski in cahoots and is possibly bribing, coercing, intimidating, extorting receivers to stop their routes when Shedeur can get a passing touchdown. See, when you put the 2 back-to-back Wildcats with the stopping on the routes where Shedeur can get a passing touchdown, it looks like collusion. And now with Haslam shifting with the little kids out there, it looked like it's all Stefanski's idea because he's a faithful servant. He should have been took that off his page. But I told y'all, he wants you to know. And he thought he was being slick till people like, you know what you're doing. You're trying to keep Shedeur from getting passes. And it became even more obvious after Jerry Judy. Oh, we see so y'all working together. See, at first people said Stefanski don't like Shedeur. People like, he racist. That's all it is. And everybody saw, the analysts saw last week. They saw the O-line blow their coverage. They saw it. They saw them point toward the stand. Face toward the stands. And Shedeur was like, this dude finna blitz me. What happened when Shedeur saw the blitz coming today? He got the hell out of there. What did I say? Shedeur been watching film. We know Shedeur watched film, right? And that's another thing. They were super complimentary. Yeah, Shedeur's always, walking around the facility, happy and with the notebook, and he always studying. And he works so hard. I'm like, whoa, that's different. Sound like a lot of people trying to say, I didn't say that. Just like after the draft, Mary Cabot was one of the first people when she was talking about Shedeur in some interview, and they asked her about his personality. You know what she said? Yeah, no, we didn't have nothing to say like that. Everybody distanced themselves from that, and they didn't say who did, but they made sure it wasn't them. If you go through the trouble to get a black GM, if you go through the trouble to get a black limited partner and give him 0.1% or something like that, I mean, I know I'm going to look racist, right? If I just treat him like this, because people going to know that we were going to draft him. Notice they never talk about that. They never talk about the fact that Haslam and company were drafted Shedeur at number 2 overall, which meant they knew he was elite talent. So now come all the way this way. So if you knew he was elite talent and Stefanski kept acting like he wasn't, and Stefanski is on the record after the draft saying, yeah, it doesn't matter where he's been drafted. We treat everybody the same. But clearly they didn't, because Shedeur can't get first team reps because Dylan was drafted before him. How many times have we heard that? It seems like Andrew Berry has redeemed himself from saying Shedeur's skill set was outdated. I don't know if he apologized. I don't. But something's changed. And I said before seeing that video with the GM coming into the locker room and gave Shedeur a nephew type embrace, I'm proud of you. They didn't just laugh and talk like they did on the sideline of the Panthers game. It's like he hugged them, and Shedeur, the way he embraced, I'm gonna show it to you. It was still turning on my page. I want you to see it for yourself. It still is. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why. Maybe because it's crashing because a lot of people saw it. I don't know why it's doing that though. That's just kind of weird. Let me see if I have 2 of them. Oh, they showing the one from last year. Okay, let me try to see if I can show it to you guys. This is it. Let me take Jerry. Oh, remember this guy? Remember this guy? Remember this guy? I wasn't trying to get him, but you remember this guy? Remember this guy got retaliated against. They need to give him his job back, and they need to fire Jerry Judy. That's what they need to do. They terminated this guy's contract. See, they don't even have to trade Jerry Judy. A lot of people within the NFL gonna be talking about what happened. They can fire him like they did this guy. And if they want to make things right, they need to get this guy back, Tony Brown, and get his job, give him his job back, and terminate Jerry Judy's contract. Whether he volunteered or was voluntold, he agreed to do it. That makes you an accessory, accomplice, or whatever you want to call it. All right, so, and see, I wasn't even planning to pull his photo up. Hopefully they give that guy his job back. Okay, so this was the Panthers game, right? This was the Panthers sideline. And remember, they were just kind of like talking, and it was like a buddy hug. But today, today was different. Let me show you today. See, that was like a buddy hug right there. But today, hopefully it works. I don't know why it's just doing that. I don't know. Let me see if I can get it in a different. I think I might have saw it twice. Okay, man, that's one. Hold on. You know who that is. Here it is right here. Here it is. Thank God I had it twice. Okay, now you see it right here. You see the difference in the hug? And you know he telling them something, right? And then he left. Now you see, that's totally different, right? That's totally different. That's totally different. That's love right there. And he told him something, right? And remember I said Andrew Berry better tell Shedeur in a text message, get a burner and send an emoji, you playing today or something. And you see, this is what I mean by there's a shift happening, right? When they were losing, you had people who wanted the Paul DePodesta guy fired. You had people that wanted Andrew Berry fired before that instead of Stefanski, because Stefanski was representing Dylan. Now, you know what, people are like, I don't want to see Dylan no more. I've seen enough, right? And there's not a whole lot of people who feel like Dylan deserves another opportunity. The only people who feel like that are people who do not want 17 or 32 quarterbacks. Understand the NFL is doing that because they know that there's a faction of people out there that they want to keep around, right? So this embrace right here, this is a message, you know, and he told them something. We don't know what it was, but but this is totally different. And I will just say this. My expectation for Andrew Berry was already to try to make this whole situation right, because he lured Shedeur there, in my opinion, knowing what kind of place it was. And when he said that Shedeur's skill set was outdated, he was going along with the lie. The lie overall from the NFL. He's not good. The things that other people were saying. And I expected better of him. Yeah, because he's black. You damn right. But it seems like things are shifting. And this is what I mean by things are shifting. And Stefanski is over here. And they got to be careful how they get rid of him. And don't be surprised if they got to find him another job. Just not a head coach job. Because they only paying him $3.5 million. That's one of the lowest NFL coaches' salaries out here. Perspective. Mike Tomlin is making $18 million a year. And he's never had a losing season. And I don't know if he's ever won that Coach of the Year award. And it tells you that they propped Stefanski up so he could appear to have some credibility. If he had that kind of credibility, he would have been making more than the minimum. He's listed himself as a faithful servant because he came to do some things. And he came at a time when the league had started their social justice movement. And it seems to me all the quarterbacks that were drafted after the NFL apologized when they got the 2020, they apologized about the whole Kaepernick thing or something. And then they went into drafting all these black quarterbacks, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 was supposed to be the year, but the administration changed and Project 2025 and striking down DEI, affirmative action. So they kind of made it like, okay, we got too many black quarterbacks, so we don't want anymore. So it's like they're aggressively eliminating them from competition. Injuries. Disparagement, or just straight jacking their jobs. When people like Daniel Jones get 6 years, Trevor Lawrence not on the radar, JJ McCarthy, Josh Allen, excuse after excuse, and people get tired of him. They're like, okay, we don't want to hear no more about Josh Allen, right? And I believe part of that whole Keon Coleman situation in the Bills organization might actually be because of Josh Allen, because they drafted Keon Coleman to be a receiver, but knowing Josh Allen, from what I could see, he was just throwing to the tight ends a lot. So he wasn't getting the ball. I asked, why they not playing with him because they thought he was funny when he was talking about he got his jacket from Macy's. But when it came time to play and be the hero, he got cut out. And now he frustrated. And they brought Tracy McGrady, one of their limited partners, down to talk to Keon Coleman. And he wasn't trying to hear nothing Tracy McGrady was saying. Nothing. And then after that, they still benched him again. Keon Coleman. I looked at this kid. I said, I don't know what y'all did to him because he was happy-go-lucky. He's sick of y'all. And I bet it got everything to do with propping up Josh Allen and bypassing him and trying to make the skill positions white and just Josh to the tight ends. That's frustrating. You're not supposed to be just going along with that, right? So they mad because he not crying in the corner. They mad because he benched and he not sad about it. If you mistreated him beforehand, if you ignored him beforehand to prop up somebody who was a preference, why should he cry? He still get paid, don't he? See, they want you to be sad. And that's what they try to do to Shedeur all summer long. And Stefanski did everything he could to make Shedeur know two things. We know you good. We know you're going to work hard. It ain't going to matter. We don't want you. We didn't want to get you after we decided we wanted you. And we don't value you because we don't want you to be our quarterback because Haslam took Andrew Berry to Ohio State versus UT. And if they couldn't get Manning, you think he would get the same kid. But maybe the shift is happening. Well, shit, let's just go ahead on and keep Shedeur. Andrew Berry's a money guy. I mean, Shedeur's $900,000 a year. And we can get to the playoffs with that. Do you really want to go out here and pay $45 million to somebody and you don't really know? Am I wrong? So I don't know what he told him, but I wanted y'all to see the embrace because it was different. I do believe that there is a shift, right? And I feel like the one that's being played is the one that was doing all the dirt, Stefanski. Because from where I sit, Andrew Berry's getting his way, the shine. And that's the flex. That's the flex to Stefanski. Andrew Berry's getting his way, the shine. Not just bringing him, allowing Deshaun, after they rebuked that idea, allowing Deshaun to mentor Shedeur on camera in front of everybody. And with Stefanski standing right there. So tell me you now see the shift. Whereas Stefanski has to be non-committal about Dylan because every time he makes a decision about Dylan, it gets overturned. He the one that's getting played. And I said that was going to happen. And that's what it had. He got played today because he exposed himself. Anybody that know football know that you was using them two wildcats to set up Shedeur. And then we see you smiling in his face. So once again, you proved that you were willing to hurt this kid. And now, did you bribe Jerry Judy? Did you bribe Tillman? Did you bribe the veterans? Did you bribe anybody last week? I told y'all. They're not the O-lineman from last week. They got away with it. Oh, lack of working together. And then today, after Shedeur's had a week of practice, who decide to set themselves up and who catching hell on the internet? Jerry Judy. I'm like, you a dodo bird. Because them white boys last week didn't catch no flack and everybody saw. And it should have been a message to you because the black people from the Ravens caught hell. Zachary Orr, let's see if he get fired. They intentionally talked about Zachary Orr. They intentionally talked about the Ravens defense. They chose not to. And they made excuses for the three white O-linemen that faced the stands when Shedeur was being blitzed from the left. And today Shedeur said, screw that. I'm going to get this shit done myself. And then we still O-linemen pick him up and pat him on the head. They got away with that. But not Jerry Judy. Just like Zachary Orr, might not get away with that either. We'd have moved on to another week. But what happened with Jerry Judy? They're going to be talking about that. They said that's the worst play in NFL history. And the NFL been around for 120 years. So, Shedeur bought out today. And now you should see a little bit clearer who should have been on this list as number 17 for the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders. Is Deshaun on this list? I don't think so. See, you couldn't count him because he was, he wasn't available. Shedeur, or if Deshaun come back, would be 17. But since I have Deshaun helping Shedeur, they're gonna have a hard time benching Shedeur for Dylan. And they won't even let Deshaun come back to practice yet, but they did find him something to do so he could sit tight. Because they need a quarterback next year if they're not gonna get whoever it is they want to get for a year, because they still want to get the Manning kid because he balled out this weekend. And with Shannon Sharp praising him for it, I said, oh, okay. Look like he, might come on out at the last minute. And then I just trade Shedeur. But Andrew Berry looks like he's redeemed himself. Gage redeemed himself. Did y'all see Myles Garrett's face? That ain't Myles Garrett, but that's Denzel Washington. Everybody's using that. Colorado, the NFL, everybody's using it. Shedeur didn't do it today, but that's okay. Oh, he did. He did toward the end of the game. He did toward the end of the game when he looked like he was tired. He did. Now, this is Coach Prime's face and Myles Garrett's face. Myles and Dion were loving the deep shot from Shedeur. Myles Garrett's face to Isaiah Bond, oh my God. And then Coach Prime and them when they were with Dylan Sampson. So understand this. Everything they tried to do to Shedeur, prevent him from making passing touchdowns with the 2 Wildcats back-to-back. I think they tried to run a 3rd Wildcat, but it didn't work. I mean, goddamn, how many times you think they're going to let you get away with it? Kept taking Shedeur off the field, taking him out of rhythm. Jerry Judy then stop running a damn route. That's exactly what happened last week with number 77. But he didn't catch hell for it. Dodo bird. Because you catching all sorts of kind of hell. Ain't nobody going to want you. They're going to have to need a favor for a friend to get him somewhere, because Cleveland probably going to be pissed with him. Just like they with Stefanski for holding Shedeur back and making them suffer through Dylan when they could actually be headed to the playoffs. It's going to be hard to bench Shedeur. I don't give a damn if you're talking about Bailey Zapp as the QB2. Some people think Shedeur is one of the best QBs out here already. Shedeur said, and that was just 1 week of practice. Imagine if I had a whole offseason. Stefanski should be fired. I just wonder how long it's going to be before they fire him. I know they got to go about it a certain way. They might not be able to fire him because he know where the bodies are buried. Remember, he's a servant, not the master. So I might have to let him finish this season, but I'm going to veto everything he do because that's what's already happening. But I got to keep him on the hook, too. I got to keep him on the hook. They're not finna bench Shedeur. If they do, get ready. Just get ready. The fans, I'm going to let the fans go first because I know they're going to be like, oh, hell no. Nah. The media is already going crazy. And you got Shedeur for $975,000. And I could win. And I don't think the Manning kid coming out next year. Dylan might stay on that practice squad, but I'm going to need my money back some kind of way. Some kind of way. So Dylan got paid way more than Shedeur. I think like $9 million. That's twice what Shedeur makes. And he not even half as good. And then Shedeur would have to thug it out basically for 4 years. And for 4 years, Dylan gets paid while Shedeur does the work. So the game was good. It's going to be talked about every day. Monday going to go crazy. People, the internet, X already, out there talking about everything. Shedeur was excited after he left. He did this. People were happy to see it. Then he did his interview and said, that's just with 1 week. Imagine if I have a whole offseason. He didn't even look back and say, if I had a whole offseason. He said, if I have a whole offseason, I know somewhere there are some teams. They're like, look here. I get it, right? But you're going to have to trade him because, you can't bench him. The fans know. Guess who it's going to be? Oh, that's right. Dak Prescott, they came back and won today, huh? Don't forget, Joe Milton has the same contract as Shedeur Sanders. 6th round, 5th round, same money. Most part. That's an easy swap. I have always said that. I have always said that is an easy swap. But then don't be surprised if Shedeur end up in Vegas where he was supposed to go. Not a coincidence that was the game. Did y'all hear them say anything about Tom Brady today? Was he conveniently out of town? He didn't go to Formula One. Nothing. Nothing. Dang, that's just so weird. Isn't that just weird? I didn't hear not one mention of Tom Brady. Normally he be having a headset on, like he in the booth, or they always talking about him early, like the not name drop with him and stuff like that. It's just crickets today. And Geno Smith said what 10 times? Shedeur look better than Geno Smith. And I'm sorry, Geno, I'm not trying to say nothing about you, but change is coming. Either Shedeur gonna finish out this year, or somebody gonna move something, because people with common sense who understand business know you done tried to cut this kid, but you can't. You tried to keep him from going out here and balling out. You didn't even want him to make a passing touchdown so you could get Dylan to come back. You was going to use that in the interception against him. And that interception wasn't against him. I think that dude pulled the Travis Hunter and went back into coverage. Isn't that what Travis do? Jump in front of people? You think he not covering you that close, and next thing you know, he just jumped you? That's what I think happened. That ain't no Shedeur. I mean, he got to take the it's not like he threw an errant ball. The receiver just got beat. Travis has done it multiple times to people. So I didn't really care about the stats. I was just happy he got his passing touchdown. And it should show them, as hard as y'all try to keep him from winning, he keep winning. And I know one of these owners, I'm going to go with Jerry Jones. Or maybe it's the Davis dude. Because Pete Carroll had good things to say about Shedeur. And Geno Smith didn't look good. And Dak's still over there. And it's going to be hard to keep Shedeur behind another quarterback going forward. So Vegas could make it right. It's time to make it right. Because if you can't keep going down this path, you already got the Browns fans. They say they left that Muni lot empty. You know that lot where they show all the people? I don't know how I popped in a conversation. They say, yeah, they left that lot empty. You see? You see? Now, that's just one set of fans. We talking about indirect support from other teams, and we're talking about non-football world. We're talking about people who are talking about we support Shedeur wholeheartedly, because when Black people find themselves in white spaces, you know what comes after that. And that's what they're trying so hard not to be obvious with. That's what I am, but I'm hiding it. I'm wearing a sheet. I'm not wearing a hat because I don't want you to know. Why? Because the league is majority Black, and I don't want to be forced to sell my team like Donald Sterling. So how do I back away from Stefanski as I'm moving closer to Andrew Berry and Shedeur? Because he know where the bodies are buried, and I asked him to do this. And his daddy is connected, and I can't just, he's not a nobody, unfortunately. He's a Nepo baby. High up. Let's see if his job is still safe. Let's see if that conversation stays the same. Let's see if the Browns media turns on Stefanski. Let's see how they try to frame it. That Shedeur went out here and balled out with 1 week of practice like this when Stefanski was the one holding him back. And imagine where he would be had he had first team reps in the summer, at least for 2 weeks, or at least in practice for the first, 7, 8, 9. This was week 12. The first 11 games, he could have had 2 reps a day. He could have had 2 passes a day. He could have had 2 reps a day, and with over 12 games, 11 games, he could have thrown to each of them receivers. Tell me I'm wrong. Stefanski gonna catch it. That's how they gonna have to. That's what they're gonna have to lean on to get rid of him. You know, these people trying to sue us. Yeah, they are. We're gonna have to part ways. Maybe they got to give him a parachute, a golden parachute, equal his salary once or twice or whatever. Honestly, they're gonna have to do something like that. They're gonna have to, because if Haslam is being different, gravitating towards Barry, Stefanski's being overruled, and gotta be non-committal, because every time I say Dylan gonna do this, no, he not. He's smart enough to know, okay, I'm being overruled. He knows Deshaun being there is not something he wants. Tony is a reminder of what happens when you gravitate towards Shedeur. And Andrew Berry made this happen. You just saw Andrew Berry hug Shedeur and say something to him. And that's a different embrace. than the Panthers game. And Andrew Berry was very happy after that Panthers game. I'm just saying. So the game was good. Coach Prime was there. We're happy about it. I'm getting ready to hop in the comments and see what y'all saying. We're gonna see what's next, how this week fold out. Monday is gonna be by Monday about 2:00. But I have a picture of what's gonna go down because Tony Grossi was cheering for Shedeur in Vegas. He said, I can't wait to have a good story about him. The dudes from 92, the station, you know what they said? I don't know what this kid has done, but it just seems like the whole league is against him. I was like, oh, they lied to us about Shedeur. So they were trying to frame it as if Shedeur did something, but what they were really doing was telling you the league is against him. It ain't just the Stefanski. See how they be slick with it? But I be on it. You know, and then pay attention to if Deshaun returns to practice, pay attention to what they say about Bailey Zapp, because supposedly it's confirmed that he's QB2. And if he's QB2 and you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, Shedeur is QB1. So Stefanski's boy is where? On the practice squad. And another team can get him. And then if he go, Stefanski going. They just got to back out of it carefully so he don't feel like they set him up so he don't tell on them. These people did not expect to be at this place right here. They thought he was going to be an undrafted free agent. When he was throwing to the Water Boys, they thought they were going to execute the email, waive you. That's why he was throwing to the Water Boys, because everybody got the phone number, including the equipment managers. That's what it was, the equipment managers. They thought they was going, they keep thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. And now Stefanski keep playing it and it gets vetoed, and Stefanski keep playing it and it gets vetoed. And when I read Bailey Zapp is officially QB2, I'm like, how the hell you make your QB2 official and you don't know who your QB1 is? I said, oh, I guess this is going to be this game. Now you can see the game was intended for Shedeur to play, for the O-line not to get caught up. Jerry Judy was the patsy this time, and maybe O.C. Tillman, according to Daryl Reuter. The two black guys, because it's always like that. The two black guys, and they catching hell. Jerry Judy for sure. By 2:00 on Monday, you're going to have an idea of what's going on, because that game didn't go like Stefanski thought it would. Just like Stefanski thought he wasn't going to bench Flacco, and Flacco got benched, and then Flacco left. And then supposedly he was mad with Andrew Berry for that. I didn't care about that because that could be a lie. And then he thought Dylan was coming back to practice. That didn't happen either. That's when today Bailey Zappi was named QB2. So maybe they were going to use today's game against Shedeur and name Dylan QB1, but ain't no way. Ain't no way them Browns fans finna part ways with Shedeur Sanders. They save you. They not finna do it. They not finna do it. They'll leave that damn stadium empty. They basically showed you they capable. 30 minutes before kickoff, I saw Miss Pilar making a video. It wasn't nobody in that damn stadium but her and a few other people. I was like, oh, this was real. They left the Muni lot empty. They left the stadium empty till 30 minutes before kickoff, which meant they've been talking to each other. They don't want that smoke. And that's on the inside. That's they fans. They don't want that smoke. So can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Bailey Zapp is QB2. Shedeur balled out like QB1. He said, people keep rooting for me to fail. It's not going to happen. Because he's consistent. There's no way you come and open your mouth and say Shedeur is going to the practice squad. I would suggest you just waive him and get him back with a new contract. Because if you do that without telling people that's what it is, they're going to burn it down. They just going to burn it down because they're going to be like, because they already see the malfeasance and they're not going for it. Nobody wants to go back and watch Dylan struggle. For what? They're not doing that. And it tells you how arrogant Stefanski is, because he's in control. He's in control of one part. Haslam said it. Barry does this, and Stefanski decide who's going to play. Well, is he deciding about Dylan for the last two decisions? No. When he made the decision about Flacco, didn't that get vetoed? That's 3 times. And now he's non-committal about QB1 and something about when Dylan gets off of concussion protocol that nobody thinks he has, that he'll be back to QB1. Okay, because I don't see it. Because if it happened, they better get ready. Let me see what y'all thinking. But Shedeur was happy at the end. He did well. His dad, everybody's glad Coach Prime was there. I was glad Bucky was there. It was a lot. It was just a lot. A lot of good. Miss Constance was there. Yep, fire Kevin Stefanski. That's what I say. I mean, honestly, like, what are we doing, right? Shedeur clearly should have been number 17. Clearly should have been number 17 to 32 on the draft night. And had he started the season, they would be in playoff position. But they didn't want that. They couldn't get out their own way. Let's see if they're ready to get out their own way. So, yep, fire Kevin. That's facts. It said, Shedeur was asked before the game, what do you want to tell the fans? He said that I'm the one y'all are looking for, and walked off. God got me. He right. And guess what? They believe. Understand. There are people that I was riding with Dylan, but I don't want to see no more with Dylan like that. Like that. Great game, 12. Facts. Great show. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It said, he said, all I had was 1 week of practice. Imagine what the offseason could look like. Facts. I know they mad. God is humbling them big time. Right. And it's really pointing the finger, because the only person who made that decision, because that ain't Andrew Barry's job, hasn't told us that. Stefanski. That's why I said he gonna get fired. I just think they got to go about it the right way, because he know what about his Barry, who his father is. See, that's why you don't hire people like that if they're not good, because if you're using them as a patsy and you need to get rid of them, it's going to be hard because they can tell everybody. But that's their problem to solve. That's their problem. But facts. Mother trucking wife, facts. It said they thought they were doing something, not giving him his number. Y'all have him, the number of a weapon. Facts. It said that's his dad's number backwards. They are dumb. And in that Tom Brady's number? Yep. It says, so let's see if they put him back in next week. Even the sportscasters are trying to figure out what Judas was doing when he stopped running so the Raiders could catch him. Everybody sees it. They said, when they said it's the worst play in NFL history, I'm like, the NFL been around for 120 years. You don't just stop running. But number 77 did the same thing. Last week, if you go look at the video toward the end of the game, number 77 had a man. And he let that dude tee off Shedeur. You know what he did? He stopped chasing the man, threw his hands up in the air, and people was like making excuses for him. Oh, when you have a lineman upset, he must have saw somebody offsides. And what part of football practice do they tell you if you think somebody offside, just throw your hands up in the air and let them tee off on your quarterback? See, he got away with that. Judy ain't gonna get away with this. They're gonna go in him on extra. They're gonna go in on him extra crispy. Watch what I tell you. And that's his stupid fault. Because he black and you should have known they was going to use you. When you going to learn? When you going to learn? If I don't like Shedeur, what the hell make you think I like you? I don't like you. Oh, because I paid you. I'm getting my money's worth, aren't I? It said Browns could be 8-4 if they start at 12. Yep. And fans don't talk about that. And understand that. Understand that fans are basically going to be, oh, wait a minute. You got Shedeur and you want to let him go for somebody that's mid? We're not doing that. See, the fans got him. The fans got him by the cojones. Understand that. One of the things that they said about their fan base is, and I think that that's what made Haslam buy the team. They don't win all the time, but they fans are sure loyal. Season ticket sales. If I ain't going to these games or this game, I ain't buying them tickets yet. But let me find out Shedeur QB1, and every damn thing else gonna be sold out. Mother Judas. Yeah, he is. That's what people calling him. It said Browns can go 8-4. The Browns actually can do pretty good. The Browns can do really good. Hit the like button for me, please. It said, what's up, y'all? We back. Yep, we back. It said Shedeur broke the curse. Yes. What was it? How many years? They said since 1994, 94, 2004, 2014, 2025. That's that 30 years. That's not, yeah, that's 30 years. Yep, that's 30 years. That's 30 years. It's been 30 years since the Browns rookie quarterback won their official NFL start first game. Shedeur broke the curse. You know what somebody said? I've seen enough. This kid is special. And Acho was so proud of Shedeur. I said, you know, you owe Shedeur an apology. I said, because you were loud and wrong. I wasn't being mean. I said, you need to own that. You need to own that. And he needs to own it. He needs to own it. And just as loud and wrong as he was, that apology needs to be loud too. He said, Shedeur is really good. I was like, really? See, they think they could just tear people down and just change the story as I'm doing my job. No. It said Jerry Judas is tripping. Yep. Straight buster. It said Shedeur did not get the game ball. Make that make sense. Oh, I didn't even know they did that in the NFL. It says Shedeur did his thing. He sure did. He sure did. It said Andrew Berry embraced Shedeur Sanders in the locker room after the game. I think Berry may be jumping on the train. Facts. Ever since that Panthers game, I would say so. I would say so. I think Andrew Berry, I don't know who his people are or whatever. He married to a white woman, but his brother married to a black woman. So they got some black people around. I think his conscience. No, I know it was. It wasn't his conscience. When they tried to get him fired, I think that's when he just kind of like, okay, oh, they finna get me. See, they always in on it, right? They always in on it. Haslam, Berry, and Stefanski, right? They always in on it. Now, I said it earlier. I didn't know how long Berry knew that they were going to flip on Shedeur. But I think Haslam and Stefanski always knew. And I felt like those two were more aligned, and Berry was just used for his melanin to get people for cheap. I've said that. Isaiah Bond, Quishon Junkins, they tried to get him. They got Shedeur for cheap. Berry talked about the deep discount. See, on day 3 of post-draft press conference, they were like bosom buddies, right? They were all that in a bag of chips. Not no more. Some people say it's because of Flacco getting traded. I say it's because Andrew Berry like, oh, wait, y'all turning on me. And Haslam, you ain't saying nothing when we all in on it. So now Berry and Haslam that showed some type of alignment or allegiance or interest or fondness of Shedeur. Haslam on the side with the kids. Berry to embrace in the locker room. Now it's just Stefanski by himself. That means they don't give a damn what Stefanski think about Flacco getting traded. I'm like, you ought to be realizing that they leaving you on the island. While they over there, we should do a Sanders friendly over here. And then Berry is flexing his power. Because why? Stefanski been flexing his. Stefanski, in my opinion, was rubbing it all in Andrew Berry's face that he, as a coach, got the pick over the GM. Berry was on the record for Shedeur and about Coach Prime. And on the night of the draft, when you saw him look perturbed, it was because we was going down here to get him. And now y'all got me out here looking crazy. And when we came into the picture, they had people thinking that Andrew Berry is the one that gave Deshaun $230 million guaranteed. I'm like, no, he didn't. No, the hell he didn't. Just like I knew Haslam didn't draft Shedeur, and I knew Berry can't get Shedeur against the wishes of 32 billionaires who didn't want Shedeur because they said it before the draft. So people are finding different ways to put it out there that this is on the league. This ain't Stefanski, or Berry and Haslam are working and they Shedeur Sanders friendly. And this Stefanski, and he bribed number 3, because let's see what happened with that. I don't know if O.C. Tillman and Jerry Judy were working together, but it don't matter. For Jerry Judy to do what he did, and then when Shedeur throw 2 passes, he walks up to Shedeur and put his hand around him. That was gross. That was gross. I'm like, oh, you a snake. Oh, okay. All right. Remember what you do the grave you did for Shedeur gonna be for him. I don't know what the hell it is that Andrew Berry said to him, but Andrew Berry got some power right now. It says some of these black athletes continue to bend over. Yep. And that's Jerry Judy. It said Judy sold his soul. Yep. That's what people calling him. He don't understand. I don't think Cleveland gonna be too kind for him. I don't. Because for one, this the first real chance we have had. And you messed it up. Understand this. Isaiah Bond, let's say he made his touchdown. So that was 2 already. Then Isaiah Bond was 1 for Shedeur. That's 1. Jerry Judy was another for Shedeur. And Dylan Sampson. Shedeur would have had 3 touchdowns, even with the Wildcats. And if they weren't playing with the damn Wildcats, let's give Quashawn 1. Shedeur could have had 4 touchdowns. Because they really would have been 5. So if you're doing all this, even though your plan ain't working, you still holding him back, but you smiling in his face, Stefanski, trying to be on camera so people can say, see, he's not racist. We see straight through that. And we're going to call you out. Shedeur Sanders having 6 million fans is what sets him apart from Lamar Jackson. They trying to treat them the same. But now, Shedeur's pulling away. And they're going to still try it. But that's where the 6 million, or probably at some point 10, come in at. Because remember, there's indirect support and there's direct support. It says Shedeur was talking to Kevin to get plays. Yeah, he probably was calling them plays. And I feel after watching Jerry Judy today, I feel Tommy Reese was trying to get Shedeur paired up with people that wouldn't sell them out because he noticed it in the last game. Because people said Jerry Judy just stopped running his route, but they excused it as chemistry, just like they did the 3 white O-linemen. And I was like, that ain't got nothing to do with chemistry. I'm like, because it's football, damn it. You ain't supposed to stop running mid-play. Who does that? And then Judy just showed his butt today, which really exposed the whole plot. The 2 Wildcats, the passing touchdown. That's when people was like, oh, they don't want him to get a passing touchdown. Because even on our watch party, the first Wildcat, people was like, oh, that's normal. I'm like, no, that's not. We was like, it was a lot of people was like, no, that's not. Because Shedeur is a good quarterback. And it was like, well, they called it for Dylan. And we was like, it don't matter because Dylan isn't good. Shedeur is a star. And he told them at the end. And I don't know if y'all know, but he was wearing his Nike shirt that say legendary with the Nike swoosh. And Nike gave Shedeur his own logo. It's him with his braids. And I checked. The defensive coordinator for the Raiders has stitch braids like Shedeur. So he wasn't going to take Shedeur down. They all need to start wearing their hair like that if they stand with Shedeur. And Myles Garrett looked totally surprised. And when they showed him, he was just like, what? I mean, and the camera's so messy. The camera be on it fast. They went straight to Myles Garrett because he was an advocate. And at one point, it seemed like Judy was too. But then they got him to come out and stomp for Dylan. And at one point, I said this. They try to get Deshaun. They were like, Deshaun is really helping Dylan. I'm like, okay, cool. The locker room celebration coach speech was suspect as hell. Oh, Lord. They let Stefanski talk. Did Tommy Reese get to say anything? Or is he really just a scapegoat if they had lost? Because Stefanski seems to be calling plays. And I don't think Tommy Reese called them 2 Wildcats like that. I'm starting to think Tommy Reese was trying to save Shedeur from Jerry Judy, to be honest. It said, I believe Shedeur peeked it and Sampson killed it on the screen. Facts. Oh, no, Shedeur knew. You could tell Shedeur knew because there were 2 plays. Shedeur was getting ready right back to Jerry Judy, and he did like this, and he just threw it right there to Harold Fanning. And Jerry Judy noticed it. Then there was another play. I think it was supposed to be when Gage was out there, and they was maybe going to run the Baylor or something like that. Again, that's how I know Shedeur has some input, right? Gage had been on the wide receiver line for, he was just on kick return. And I knew they was going to hold Gage back so they wouldn't run it back, right? Because Shedeur run a play twice with different people. Isaiah Bond first, then, then Gage. And Gage redeemed himself like that with that kick return, or that kickoff. But Stefanski, I feel like Stefanski got exposed even more after Jerry Judy dropped the ball because that's when people realized they try to keep Shedeur from making passing touchdowns. People really excused away the first Wildcat. People tried to excuse away a stick, and I'm like, no. And then Jerry Judy dropped the ball, and That was just like the prank call being on the video. Undeniable, you trying to set him up. And I didn't even know about OC Tillman. That means other people are catching other things and they are calling it out. Don't be surprised if Jerry Judy get the short end of the stick and Stefanski still go to another team or something. Because that's what happened when you black and you let these people use you. They'll talk about Jerry Judy all night and not talk about Stefanski with the Wildcats. Let's see. Let's see if I'm right. All right, let's see what we're saying. It said, I don't think Tommy Reese was calling plays. I don't either. I think they took that back from him. It says Shedeur Sanders didn't throw Judy the ball after the fumble. Sure didn't. And that's when Judy went to the side and put his hand around Shedeur. I said, you need to check to see if he had you robbed. Because if he this bold to act like he your friend, Shedeur was throwing to him before one of their games. And then you out here, you mad because he gonna be throwing to people he know, and then you mad, and then he throw to you, whether it was the plan or not. And what you do? The same thing Stefanski did. Try to keep him from making a pass and touchdown. Jerry Judy exposed the whole plot. I didn't see Tillman, but I don't doubt it. And I don't know if the veterans had, it don't matter. If the veterans was upset because they was changing things and Stefanski overruling Tommy Reese, we're going to see. We're going to see. Because now, believe me when I say it's friction. When I saw his O-lineman, Shedeur O-lineman picked him up, I was like, wait a minute. Okay. It said Kevin Stefanski looked very unhappy during his press conference. He always unhappy when Shedeur looks good. It said, I was glad Shedeur said what I have been through. I had to really trust God. Facts. He did. And he said he was growing his faith, and this was a part of it. Congratulations, 12. Totally agree. It said Shedeur fell into A-beat arms. They family. They like family now. It said he gave him a hug and whispered in his ear. Yep, he did. Brothers keepers. That's it. That's really it. Kevin Stefanski is exposed because why did you draft Dylan Gabriel? Right. That's why he looks sad. The one thing Kevin Stefanski never wanted to admit is that Dylan was not better than Shedeur. That Shedeur always had to be less than Dylan because how can I justify it? See, Haslam could say, that ain't my job. That's on Andrew Berry. And Andrew Berry like, because I had Shedeur. And he did. But they pivoted to Dylan. And Stefanski got his way. And all the time since, they've been lying. And the Giants was lying. He was lying. Everybody was lying. And then that dude over at the Giants got fired. I'm like, if Callahan gone and whatever his name is gone, you next. And what are we seeing? The shift. We're seeing the shift. And I promise y'all, if I'm somewhere busy and he get fired and I ain't go live in 2 minutes, y'all better hit me up. Y'all better email me all at the same time so I can get my phone just blow up notifications because I'm going live immediately. I can have a goddamn bonnet on my head. If he get fired this week, yeah, y'all make sure I know because I might see signs otherwise. But I'm going to need to know immediately. Email me what she said 404@gmail.com because it's coming. Trust me, it's coming. I see it. It said, this is Juanita Robinson on my husband's phone. Okay, thank you. Glad you came back. Hey, Regina, how you doing? We missed you earlier, unless you popped in and we didn't see you. We had fun. It said, I just saw that video of Andrew Berry hugging Shedeur. Right, totally different. Yeah, he is a company man. That's what I call people. It said, he had incentive to do what he did. I totally agree. And I wonder who gave him this incentive because here's the thing. Kevin Stefanski can't promise nobody nothing over Andrew Berry and Haslam. He the coach. So what's the incentive? I'm going to see if I can get your contract, your $54 million guaranteed. And maybe Andrew Berry is like, I saw that. I got you. He treated him like a nephew today. I mean, he was happy last time, but I felt like that was for him to vindicate himself because they was like, Shedeur was his pick. And now everybody that was like, I didn't know he was good. Watch what happened Monday by 2 p.m. Because they started about 5 in the morning. By 2 p.m. Yeah. Well, why Stefanski didn't put him out there? Island. Stefanski is on an island. I'm telling you, he don't even know it. And they going to get Jerry Judy before they get him. It said Tillman did stop running on that deep route. That's crazy. I mean, if you already got the damn ball, what are you doing? I don't know. They know what they was doing, though. It said, Juanita Robinson, I noticed that away from the camera, too. It said the Buster jersey. He is the Buster. Oh, y'all talking about my jersey? He's a buster. He ain't gonna say nothing. He don't want that smoke. He don't want that smoke. Like Bubba Dove said right after the draft, if the NFL keep around with Shedeur standards, we gonna burn it all down. Match lit. Match is lit. Matches are lit. That's why today, when I went to get my caramel frap, I don't normally just go live when I'm out like that. And I say, you know what, I'm gonna make this because I heard what Nick Wright said, and I heard I think somebody else said maybe the pivot, and maybe they meant it differently than Nick Wright. But Nick Wright was trying to assert that Shedeur has one opportunity and one opportunity only. I'm like, we're gonna keep it fair, we're gonna keep it square, baby. I know. See, y'all think because you say it, that's the way it's gonna be. That's what they pay you to say. The fans run this. The fans run this, and the Browns know this. See, they've been taking their fans for granted for a long time, but when it comes to what's happening here, they showed up. I really didn't think them people was gonna boycott, but they did. They left that lot empty. The people with the food trucks was out there because they have business, but the rest of the people that didn't have nothing to sell, they didn't show up. They didn't show up, and they left it empty 30 minutes before, which means they've been talking. Monday by 2 p.m. Monday by 2 p.m. Believe that. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at that. It said that one player said when he saw Shedeur throw that ball up, he was like, please, God. It was a bucket, and there is no doubt he can go far in this game. Oh, yeah. I saw that with Shedeur throwing the ball into a trash can. Yeah. Hey, Alonzo, how you doing? It said Miles said that Ninja Cole. It said when Shedeur said it through that deep ball. Stefanski has lost the locker room, maybe except for Judy and Tillman, but he lost the locker room. He has no credibility. His credibility is shot. His reputation is trash. Technically, he should be fired already. They should have told him to figure out how to get back to Cleveland. Shedeur phone should be jumping off the hook. Andrew Berry phone should be jumping off the hook and do not. Now, Dallas won. Had they lost that game, I could hear 32 owners led by Mr. Jerry Jones. Look here. Hey, Prime, how you doing? And then he like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go on and get Shedeur from over there. And what you think about that, Prime? All right, well, I'm gonna call over there to Haslam and let him know, because he ain't asking. He ain't asking. Haslam want to be Jerry Jones. Haslam is not there. Haslam is not there. Even Jerry Jones had to walk back his statement when he said he didn't care about the defense and fixing their problems. Now, that says a lot. Jerry Jones goes after season tickets. That's his thing. That's what Haslam has set up his team to do. So you are beholden to the fans. It said, yeah, Barry had to move mountains to set this up. He and his brother learned how to move and needs to move in the circles at Yale. It said, smiling in their face while trying to make space for Shedeur Sanders' masterclass. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. That's true. And I said, don't be surprised if Shedeur end up in Philly. Now, I want y'all to know something. They coming after Jalen Hurts tough. They coming after Jalen Hurts. That's why I said in one of my most recent videos, I said it ain't just Shedeur. Jalen Hurts is on his way back to the third Super Bowl would be in 5 years, right? And they were up 21-0 because I checked the score while we were at the watch party. And the next thing you know, I'm like, how the hell did the Cowboys come back and win that damn game? Now, there's supposedly some kind of internal friction happening in Philly. I have to go watch the highlights. But I want you to know, they trying to tear Jalen Hurts all the way down. All the way. And he don't have 6 million fans. And we know he done helped out Shedeur. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if I go looking into what's going on and put it out there. I don't know if it's going to make a difference because, again, I'm one person. Shedeur got a lot of us. That's what separates Shedeur from everybody else. Remember when I said Shedeur might transcend this? This is what I mean. Look how far he's gotten. And he wasn't even supposed to get drafted. That's what I meant. Things changed. The way things are today, they may not be tomorrow. And Kevin Stefanski is too arrogant to believe that. It said, yeah, Barry had to move their mountains. Yep. And it seemed like those two get to make all the trades they just want to make. It seemed like they don't even have to talk to nobody else. It's just Barry text his brother, hey, bro, I'm going to send DTR. You give me Pickett. All right. That's it. And they twins. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yes, I was reading his lips. You talking about Amber say she was reading Miles Garrett lips. I definitely seen Tilma stop on the route. Okay, Donald. So it happened. It definitely happened. It said Miles did tell Shedeur and Carolina that we're going to need you. Right. He knew that. He saw it all summer long, what he had at 12. Right. And what did they Miles Garrett after that? We heard about his speeding ticket. They tried to strong arm him. They didn't want him to gravitate towards Shedeur, and they must have set him down and talked to him about his contract, because in one press conference, he was like, I can't comment on the quarterback situation, and he moved on. And somebody must have talked to him at his house and say, hey, look, don't let them punk you like that, because they scared of you, and they don't need to think you scared of them. So he came back, and they asked him the question kind of the same, and he said, I'm not qualified to say, because I'm on defense. I don't see what they do. As terms of who's better or whatever, or how he said, but he works really hard. So he clarified it, and he added the compliments. He added the truth, what he said in the interview. So Miles Garrett has been trying to speak out, but even when speaking out, and they've been retaliating the whole time. It's not a coincidence that we only know of 2 Cleveland Browns players that have speeding tickets, and they both came from Strongsville. Y'all don't think that's weird? Shedeur first, and when Miles Garrett tells Shedeur, we're going to need you mic'd up, why would they have Shedeur mic'd up if they didn't believe in him? Exploiting him for clicks and likes. So they heard what Miles Garrett said. And then next thing you know, Mary Cabot tried to paint him as reckless. But I know on her page, her ex page, if you go to her ex bio profile, if you can see it, she had something about Jerry Judy pinned up there. That's how I knew he was a company guy. They had him sharing a locker with Flacco. That's how I knew. And I think he got frustrated with Dylan because he wasn't hitting his numbers. So like Denzel Ward, like Miles Garrett, he stood up and said, yeah, no, Shedeur is ready. But then after that, they talked to him. Just like they talked to Deshaun. They always go and talk to them. And I think they must be sending them a picture of their contract or something, so they can straighten up, fly right, and shut the hell up about Shedeur. Well, the toothpaste is out the tube, and you can't put it back. So just say what you want to say, because everybody now knows Shedeur is him, and you neglected him, and you were a detriment to your team because you didn't get him ready, not even 2 snaps, just in case. There's no justification for that. People talking about, is Bailey Zapp gonna get first team reps? I'm like, shut up. Don't nobody care if he get them or not, to be honest. I'm like, what, did he work there already? All right, they know what he is too. It says Shedeur put the NFL and the world on notice that he is the number 1 pick. We saw it, and talking about the game in the UK. Oh, wow. Look, y'all, we got somebody from the UK. Thank you for telling us that. Thank you. Diane, I didn't know you were in the UK unless you went to the game. It said, yeah, saw Tillman and Judy suspect. Oh, wow. Fire Kevin. Totally. It said, Shedeur told a reporter, I want to tell the fans I'm what they were looking for. Okay, it was the fans. Okay, he said he knows if the fans stand up, maybe they will do right. And he's right. He's right about that. And that's what all that really should matter. Who gives a damn what Kevin Stefanski think? They don't care what Mike Tomlin think. Mike Tomlin wanted to get Shedeur. And imagine had Shedeur gone to Pittsburgh. See, they blocked that. They always try to give him troublesome people that cause problems. They didn't want him with Shedeur because they didn't want him to ball out. So they sent him Aaron Rodgers. And they wanted him to get Shedeur. They wanted Tomlin to get Shedeur and push Shedeur behind Aaron Rodgers. They did not. This tells you right here, this QB1, this is what they never wanted. That's why this game, before this game, all of these niceties about Shedeur, and I said, talk is cheap. Let me see what you do. And they try to set him up. And he overcame it. And we talked about that. We said he overcame the foolishness from Stefanski in the Panthers game. Not so much the Rams game, right? And then we talked about the Ravens game. He was set up because he was held back. And I felt like they set him up. And I said that people did analysis and said that some of the receivers set him up last week with some balls that were catchable. And I think Jerry Judy might have been one of them. I don't know who the other one was. Hopefully not Harold Fanning Jr. because Lord, that's gonna hurt. It said today was the first day I literally seen an active wide receiver stop in the middle of a route. So see, it's true when they said this the worst play in history. It said Shedeur fell into AB arms. What are y'all talking about? Yeah, because he's seen to breathe a sigh of relief. It said DeAndrea posted Shedeur is Himothy in his after game interview. His demeanor was totally different, and he stood 10 toes down on his faith, right? And who he is. Here's my question: was she there? Was the rest of the family there, and we just didn't get to see him? He said, "People don't want me to succeed, but I have God." Facts. He says a lot of people want me to fail. He said, but it ain't gonna happen. He told them it's not gonna happen. And then Nike got that whole thing with the logo on it. So, and they got him his own logo, so he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. And that's again, that's a form of support. All of these sponsors that he have, I have been saying it. How are these sponsors letting them this happen like this? It said, when the setup fails, it's because of the Most High step in. Shedeur showed them something they never seen before. Facts. And they've been thirsty for a good, consistent quarterback for a long time. It said, not too bad for a first start with the first week practicing with the ones. Facts. Facts. And there could have been 5 touchdowns. They didn't want that at all. It said, I'm so glad Shedeur put his wrist up. Yep, he did. He sure did. Continue to be you. No way on earth Shedeur wins that game alone. Stefanski is a loser. Yeah, definitely a loser. We all seen that Wildcat. Yep. And we was over here talking amongst ourselves. That ain't normal. That ain't normal. It said that was it. Shedeur should have had 4 touchdowns. Yep, over 300 yards. It was when people was gonna make some money too. It said, I thought Watson was coming back in 2026. Here's how it goes with Watson. His contract ends. He got 1 more year where they owe him $46 million. And hell, they're gonna owe Shedeur about $500 million. They keep on. Or somebody get their hands on some evidence. I'm not ruling out the fact that he had evidence and they want it. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I'm not. He talked to them people too much. When they pre-draft for him, they said things to him and they never talk about, well, yeah, we won't get him number 2 because it doesn't make sense. If you was going to pay him $46 million, how can you act like he belongs behind Dylan? See, that don't go together. They don't never talk about that. He got the evidence. And people were talking this week when he got robbed. You know what the conversation was? That Shedeur got one hell of a lawsuit. And it was a lot of people saying it. And then he gets robbed. And I want y'all to understand something about this robbery that became apparent. They worked harder to conceal who they were than to get stuff. When you look at what they got and you look at the effort they put in to conceal their identity, including their skin color, who they are is very important. Who sent them is very important. In fact, who sent them could blow everything out the water. I don't think it was about a chain at all. They came in empty-handed and they only left with what they could hold, which means they wasn't planning much. They were looking for something, which is why they took the contents of his nightstand. Think about 2 things in your nightstand right now. For me, it's devices. I think Shedeur got something or they want to get something on him. But the more I think about how much they tried to conceal who they were versus the amount of stuff Shedeur has, and they only got 200,000, and they only could carry it, and they ran off in the woods, and they got a lot of them shirts, them Nike shirts in the bag. And if it's any one of those shirts with his logo on it, what the hell you gonna do with that? What the hell you gonna do with that? I was surprised. I was truly surprised that Shedeur wore that today. I was surprised that his after the game outfit was something from his legendary because they hated that. Why does he call himself legendary? They said that's he cocky entitled or whatever. I was surprised he wore that today. And I wonder if that was in the batch of samples that Nike sent him with his logo on it. And that's what they took because they stupid and don't know what they was taking. What you gonna do with that? High-end bags, all have a serialized. What you gonna do with that? If you don't sell it to somebody that's rich, you're going to get busted. That don't fit your lifestyle. That kid has really nice things. And they didn't even break into any of his cars. They didn't try to steal one. So it's more important to get in the house. Maybe clean out the contents of his nightstand than it was to steal. That's just for your reward, to make it look like a burglary. And he showed up with his Nike stuff and they took what was in the Nike bags. That could very well be a message. It said they got Judy this week because played hard last week. So they threatened him. Hence his pouting in the presser. Could be because he was upset. But he actually stopped running his route last week. It just wasn't as bad because he didn't catch the ball yet. But that's how Shedeur threw an interception. He got 2 touchdowns to Quashawn Junkins. He wasn't even there. He gave 2. He didn't give nothing. You talking about Stefanski? Yeah, Stefanski did. So he don't give it to Shedeur, which is trying. And Shedeur and Quashawn Junkins are cool. See how he's trying to tear them apart? They got to Judy. Now they trying to get to Quashawn. Next, Dylan Sampson. Then Isaiah Bond. Gage, they don't even have to put him out there. And if you notice, he wasn't really out there. Instead, he was on purpose stopping Shedeur's touchdown stats. Right. Jerry Judy catching hell. Believe it, they calling him Judas. Jerry Judas. He is catching hell. Judy fumbled a touchdown for nothing. Right. Because Shedeur still got the touchdown. And I was like, I don't think they're going to let him score no more. He took matters into his own hand. That's what having a sleeve could do for you. That's why Coach Pride need to make sure them quarterbacks over there got a sleeve. It said this was the first rookie initial start with the Browns since 1995, and they won. Isn't that crazy? And thank God for Sampson. Yeah, he don't need to be a backup nowhere. It's a shame he's a backup. That dude is, I ain't going to say he faster than Quashawn Junkins because I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if he is. Now, Quashawn Junkins is bulkier and stockier. But that dude, yeah. Someone knows him and Shedeur are being treated the same. Oh, yeah, I agree. You're talking about Jalen Hurts. It said Judy needs to be investigated for that drop. Yep, I think here's what needs to happen. It needs to be investigated. Not that he dropped the ball, but what made you do it? Were you bribed? We see what's going on around here. We see retaliation, Tony Brown, Shedeur, Myles Garrett. We see intimidation, retaliation. Next on the list is bribery. We saw another team protect Dylan. Whose idea was that? We saw you, after you was upset you wasn't going to get the ball. You got the ball and could have got a touchdown, but yet you stopped running. What made you do that? And then your coworker did it too. So did y'all decide? So we're going to put this on you. And they're going to be like, it wasn't me. So what did you get for it? Are your guarantees going to come through next year? Because you just got $54 million and you're not the lead receiver. So why would they pay you that kind of money? And Tilma, did you and Jerry Judy work on this together? No. Did somebody ask you to do it? I would suggest you say it. Because here's the thing. They black. They don't get it. Tilma probably going to escape it because I didn't even know it. But they talking about it. They putting it out there. And they be going ham on X. Sometimes I got to get off of there. But it's crazy to me because I said Shedeur going to be in Cleveland until everybody's exposed. Jerry Judy was not in that part of my thought processes. I really didn't. I thought it was going to be Haslam and Stefanski. But Haslam is slick. He didn't align, showed I'm Shedeur Sanders friendly, and they let Bucky come back. That's why I need to know. I don't need to know, but it would be good to know if Bucky could say out loud what made him not go last week, because he was there this week. Maybe he had something else to do with it. It was just, a coincidence. I hope that's what it was. Because if it wasn't, then they had something to do with it. So, tell her, yep, that's 77. 77 was the one. See, Jerry Judy wasn't the first person to stop his route. They did that last week. Judy is why Shedeur had an interception last week. So the fact that Shedeur threw to him again meant that Shedeur trusted him. And that's why Shedeur was going to do like this, but he threw it to Harold Fannin Jr. He trusts Harold Fannin Jr., so they're going to try to get to him. They're going to try to get the Fannin Jr. They're going to try to get to Isaiah Bond and Dylan Sampson. Watch. Now, it might not work. And see, you can't approach everybody with that. And Judy was upset so they could offer him something. And when he put his hand around Shedeur's shoulder, I'm like, I know Shedeur feel like a snake crawling on him right now. That was gross. I said, oh, this is the kind of dude you need to see if he help people get to your house, because he's showing you. He'll smile all in your face and set you up. They think Shedeur is weak. He's not. They taking his kindness for weakness because he didn't do nothing. What was he supposed to do? He told them he believed in God. He was going to let God fight his battles. But that's how people are. Oh, you ain't going to do nothing. So they think they're going to smile in your face and then I'm going to get you to throw the ball to me again. No, the hell he not. That's why you came over here and put your arm around him, because he didn't throw you the ball. And you want him to think it was a mistake. He not stupid. Just because he ain't pop off on you. And you don't want that no way. But then again, maybe that's what they want. Maybe that is what they want. But Judy was not on that list. He has truly been exposed. Stefanski showed me that he is trying to keep Gabriel looking good. Stefanski wanted Shedeur to look bad so he could bring Gabriel back next week. It said if Shedeur had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, the NFL would have gone crazy. Yup, and that's why it didn't happen. That's why it didn't happen. You're right about that. Pilar and Shalimar were there. Okay. I didn't see them. Okay. Thank you for that, Destiny. It said Judy had an easy touchdown. Just keep running. Right. He's not even in the touchdown business no more. I wonder how much money he got. He got something. Shedeur should have gotten the game ball. He made history with the rookie. How y'all know he didn't get the game ball? Do they do that in the NFL? Judy is in pocket. Facts. It said, did anybody see Shiloh? I haven't seen or heard of Shiloh in about a week. It said they have footage Andrew Berry in the locker room. Yep. Looking like they uncle and nephew. Junkyard Judy's. That's a new one. Somebody said, what was he doing skipping to my Lou? That was so hilarious. Then they done called him Jerry Judas. And now, what did you say? Junkyard Judy. It said this was the first Browns initial starting QB win since 95. Yep, that's right. 44 other QBs after Vinny Testaverde. Oh, okay. 44. Okay. 12 was talking to Jerry in the locker room. I wanted to throw something at the TV. I would love to see who initiated that conversation. It said, no, I didn't see Shiloh, but he could have been there. Yeah, they could have been somewhere. I just knew they were all going to be there. But they'll probably be at the next one. Owner has the final say always. If his kids or grandkids are wearing the 12 jersey, that's for a reason. Or any kid. Understand they do a lot of philanthropy. I think that might have had something to do with that. Or that's one of their sponsors' kids. That's not his family. I just wish we could only address the positive on his debut game and let the haters speak. Now you got to talk about you got to take the good with the bad, right? Gage and Shedeur put them in a winning spot this game. Facts. The NFL owes 12 an apology. Right. Let's see how long before it take them to either going to cut him a check for $500,000 or you going to stop. One of the two. It said a $500 million. It said if Stefanski said Dylan is starting next week, there will be a riot in the city. That was the reason he couldn't say it today. Because what he's doing, it keeps getting overturned. And I totally agree. And one of the people they going to take their angst out on is Jerry Judy. Shedeur didn't have to pop off. No, that's not for him to do. It said Dylan Gabriel, a.k.a. Dollar General. Dylan is throwing to imaginary friends from his childhood. That's funny. He's just not good. Prime beat cancer. If they think he's worried about some petty stuff, they're dumb, right? I think Bucky has a limited amount of games he could go to along with approval from the home team. Oh, really? Okay. I don't know how that works. I just know they said he had to ask individual teams, and seemed like Cleveland let him come back. I don't know what happened last week, though. I would sure like to know. It said, watch out for the get back. Remember his father was with Death Row Records. Prime is deep. Oh, you talking about Coach Prime? Hell, I say the mama. The mama is friends used to know or something like that associated with Jay Prince, which is what, Rap-A-Lot Records. So you put Death Row with Rap-A-Lot, like, come on now. It said, we're not playing around. The Cleveland Browns organization, we are not going back. There you go. Happy to hear it that the fans not playing. It said we see it taking him out to stop Shedeur's touchdown stats. Yup. Shedeur could have had 2 more. Yep, he could have had at least 2 more touchdowns. But Stefanski robbed Shedeur from it, and with the Wildcats. Yep, both of them. It says Shedeur will be the starter next week and the rest of the season. By Wednesday, for sure, we ought to know. By Monday at 2 o'clock, you ought to be able to tell which way it's going. It says CP directed Shedeur away from the reporters in the tunnel after he hugged him after the game. Oh, that's good. That's good. So many eyes on this. And that says a lot. They would let Coach Prime in the tunnel. I just thought about that. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that. Unless that was a Vegas thing, but that was the Cleveland side, right? They didn't have to do that. Think about that shift. It said, what a great day to be Shedeur Sanders. Great job today. Yep, so proud of your hard work, and it shows today in the game. Yep, it did, Crowley. Welcome back. It said, Prime looked so proud tonight. He did. It said, when they pulled Shedeur in the red zone twice, yeah, we all know what it is. There we go. People were like, this is not right. It said, I'm just waiting on the next step to when they are going to fire Stefanski. Agreed, Queen T, and sell the team because the commissioner needs to say something. He need to be fired. All of this is happening under Goodell. He got to be fired. And the fans booed him at the draft anyway. And that was before the Shedeur thing. Goodell needs to be fired immediately. Stefanski, Goodell, I think if they get rid of people like that, it'll be better off. Sanders beat the Browns and the Raiders. Totally agree. Because we said he was going to have to beat his own team first. It said, yes, I'm one of the few who saw his dad play, and now his son play NFL games live. Yep. And they were showing something in Atlanta with the Georgia Dome. I guess that's where Coach Prime used to play. He said that's the house that he built, the Georgia Dome, but they play somewhere else now. It said Shedeur doesn't have to say anything. Right. Stefanski, people like that, Judy exposing themselves. Judy was the catch today that we didn't expect. We knew Stefanski was going to do something, right? Nobody ever guessed it would be Jerry Judy. And nobody ever guessed he would be that blatant with it. And I damn sure didn't think after he did that, and it was obvious, that he would go up to Shedeur and put his arm around his shoulder. I said, oh, they taking his kindness for weakness. Okay. And so they pulled Shedeur to keep him cool. Yep. Kept taking him out. Wildcat after 50-yard line was crazy. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was for. That's the one that didn't work. The one, remember I said they did 3 Wildcats and the last one didn't work? It was at the 50-yard line. That's kind of just weird. I wish 12 would have given the naysayers any thought, because he has way more followers than haters. So I just wish he only recognized his haters. I mean, I don't think he was recognizing followers. I didn't think that he was acknowledging them. I think he was saying what needs to be said. And let me say something about this, right? What did I say that they doing to Shedeur? They tried to bully him. And what do they do after they play in his face? They smile in it. They put their arm around it. And that's the same kind of people that had him robbed. Understand that. And they think, I don't know if they think he's soft. I don't know if they think he's scared to fight back because he's going to get fired or whatever. But they're taking his kindness as weakness. Understand when Shedeur said last week, I didn't have first team reps. He knew what he was saying. And then who had to admit it at the press conference? Stefanski. And then today, when he said, and he didn't say about if I had, he just put it out there. Imagine if I have a full off season. And this is after 1 week of practice. Now, he could have easily said, imagine if I had. He didn't. He's talking in the future to another team. If you think this is what I could do with 1 week, imagine what I could do with a full off season. Screw these people. I don't think he trusts none of them. I ain't going to even tell you he trusts Andrew Berry. Yep. Because they never let on. So you don't really know. You just don't really know. Dylan Gabriel needs Deshaun help. Oh, Lord. Yeah. It said, right, everyone was at this game. Yes. Adam Schefter sources, Chip Kelly is out as the Raiders offensive coordinator. What? So they fired him tonight. So see, they can fire Kevin Stefanski. You see, there's a reason why they haven't. Monday at 2, Wednesday by end of business. All right. It's a damn shame that the media outlets are not showing clips of talking about Shedeur's debut as QB1 or the fact that the Browns secured the win today against the Raiders. What's the media? What they talking about? It said AB is not going anywhere. Andrew Berry, I don't think he is either, from what I'm seeing. It said, yeah, Deshaun and Shedeur Sanders had the iPad. Yeah, and that was good. And you know, the camera caught that too. The camera be catching everything. And I said, okay, that says a lot if Andrew Berry is the reason he's there and can help Shedeur, because what happens to people who gravitate towards Shedeur? They get booted out. But Andrew Berry set this up. And this is happening, you know, against the Stefanski's wishes, because if Deshaun even come back, what that's going to do for them? Come on now. Next week should be very interesting. I want to see how long before we hear Deshaun can come back to practice. I want to see where that's going, because they said Bailey Zapp was the official QB2. Okay. So if you bring Deshaun back to practice, you got 21 days to evaluate him. And either you make him active on the roster, and they haven't started that process yet. So it's still a rolling 21 days until they start. So you put him on the roster after 21 days and go, he's good. Or you put him back on the PUP list and say, he's not. So it'll be interesting to see. It said the 6 million fans that follow Shedeur will grow to 10 million by the end of this week. Oh, I totally agree with that. Hell, it might be by the night. It was a lot of people watching that game. If Shedeur almost beat the Ravens with no practice, he should have been able to win out from here. Yeah. And I think that's what it proved. He just had to he said what he was up against in the Ravens game, he had never practiced with them. So he had to take the time in the game, and they know that, to get familiar with the players. And that's what everybody was using for an excuse, stopping running their routes because they didn't know what to do because they never practiced with him. And then you could think that they would be like, they trying to get Stefanski in trouble. But what Jerry Judy, who stopped in his route last week, showed you today is he rolling with Stefanski. The plan is to tank. They don't have to tank. They got 2 first-round picks. And I don't even know if they want to get a quarterback, because they still want the Manning kid. So why would you pay somebody $46 million this year and ship them off next year when you got Shedeur for $900,000? I mean, Barrett went to Harvard. He got more sense than that. And I know he's going to tell Haslam, I mean, you know, I get it. We could get this kid, but why don't we just get the Manning kid next year and we'll ship Shedeur out? Barry told Shedeur something, and he might get him out of there, because I think he owes him that much. And what did we say? People who were seemingly against Shedeur. We said Flacco, not against, but, you know, indifferent or kind of standoffish. Flacco. Who else did we say? It was some other people we named. Well, now we can add Andrew Berry to the list of people who Shedeur seems to be converting without trying. It was a bunch of people we mentioned before. It said, I believe AB a real one, and he knows how to run their circles. I think he knows that too, but I think he stuck his foot in it. And when they were coming for him, I think he, like, you know what? He felt redeemed by Shedeur after that Panthers game. And then after that, they tried to fire him instead of Stefanski. And then they fired the Paul DePodesta guy. And Barry was supposedly up for that job. But then they say, we're not going to replace that person yet. And I knew that mean they didn't want to put Barry in the spot. And Barry just said something to Shedeur. Don't be surprised if Barry get hired by another team. I mean, if him and his twin brother work in the organization at this level, come on now, they got some kind of pull. Both of them, come on now. Congratulations, Shedeur. It said, I love what she said, sports. Oh, thank you so much. It said the collusion is loud. Yes, that's a good way to say that. That's a good way to say that. Good point. Good point. Might have been robbed for more info than anything. Yeah. Here's the thing. You didn't bring no signal booster so you could steal some t-shirts that might have Shedeur faith on it. You didn't do that. And Shedeur's smart. I said, I'm shocked that he would wear that. But then I thought about it. They took that Nike stuff and he had to see. They probably made up a bunch of mock-ups and sent it to him, because it was still in the plastic. And he was just looking and throwing it to the side. And they stupid. They don't know what it was. They just probably knew it was some Nike stuff. And that might be why he wore that today. He like, y'all stole stuff that's specific to me and got my face on it. So that's not available to the public yet. Unless somebody want to look it up at Nike and see. I'll check later, but I don't think so. I think that was for him. And I told you, the Sanders do not let on. So Jerry Judy better watch himself. You think Coach Prime didn't see what Jerry Judy did? You think Bucky didn't see what he did? That everybody saw. what he did. And including people in Cleveland who's sick of losing, and Shedeur can help them win. It said, Shedeur said it best. I am what Cleveland has been waiting for. He's right. And they're not going to be willing to let him go that easily. They're going to be like, you want to get somebody else from the draft? No. We want Shedeur, or we not coming back. They're going to use that leverage. Hard to say. They are not holding back Shedeur for political reasons. Right. There's definitely that. It's from the draft. It said the fans are a superpower. Yes, and they see that. And I'm very proud of them. Preach, my sister. Thank you. It says Stefanski took Dylan out to dinner first. Sure did. And remember we talked about that. We were like, after I think something happened, I said Stefanski had the little couple's lunch, right? To give Dylan a heads up that Stefanski would no longer be calling the plays. But Stefanski is doing everything on the sideline to let us know, like he always does, that he's in control. This is his decision. And that's why I said those Wildcats were not Tommy Rees. That was Stefanski. That's why he keep talking in his head so much. He the kind of person that commits a robbery and will write a letter to the newspaper and say, catch me if you can, and here's my address. That's who he is. He has been this person. That's who he is. And I feel like they putting him on an island. And that's why I said when I started this, I ain't sure who it is that they trying to set up or trying to, blame, but it looked like Stefanski to me, because they keep overruling his stuff and Barry get to do what he want, including trade Flacco for a 6th round pick and get the 5th back. Don't think Haslam don't see the value in Shedeur being $975,000 versus paying $13 million for unknown. And everybody says it. Shedeur better than all them people coming out next year. And I could sell season tickets if I let him play the next few games to the end of the season. Oh, they're going to run off and buy the tickets thinking he going to be there. And they will be right until bait and switch. And I don't know if they would risk it at this moment. If that phone gave Dylan Gabriel a concussion, it said, then that's the baddest phone in the land. Facts. Facts. It said Judy is in cahoots. Facts. He running with Stefanski. And don't think the locker room didn't see it. Hell, I felt like the Raiders players was talking about it. It said, I'm still checking to see who else got concussion protocol without visible injury, video evidence, and no real explanation. Facts. Stefanski don't want to admit that it's not his decision. Like it used to be his decision. Or he kept thinking it was his decision. He's been overruled so many times between Flacco and Dylan and Shedeur and what's the other dude? Tommy Rees. He'd have been overruled and I knew he was petty about the play caller, because what did he say? I mean, if you played Madden, you call plays. So that ain't nothing. But it's still his scheme. It's still his playbook. And he called them damn Wildcats. And they trying to split up Shedeur and Quashan. They don't want Shedeur to lead the offense. Kevin Stefanski can't get his hands off the offense. He wants to be in control. He don't want Shedeur to be in control. That's why his quarterbacks got to all be like Dylan, dependent on him, because they're not good. That's why Baker Mayfield left and could, but the black quarterbacks, they don't have it that easy. If Shedeur had that kind of power, he would have been gone. And honestly, if anybody else could have gotten him, they would have came and gotten him. If Jerry Jones ain't done it, then there's a moratorium. Even Skip Bayless was like, Jerry Jones didn't want to get Shedeur for $4 million. That's just weird. And he's right. They was plotting. Let's see what they do next. Yeah, Jerry Judy did expose himself. And yeah, we can all see the rig. Yep. It said Tillman stopped on the route. Like what? If you on the field, be ready. Right. And they both should be benched. And the fact that they did not make adjustments and take Judy out the game. Now, I didn't see Tillman so much. I have to go back and look at his stuff. But I was like, is Jerry Judy still in that damn game? That told you everything you needed to know. The way they are talking about that being the worst play in NFL history, and you don't take him out the game, you wanted him in the game. They working together. So here you go. They weren't volunteered. They signed up for it. I just want to know what they got. I just want to know what they got for it, because they got something. I just want to know what it is. It said he gonna be a faithful servant in the unemployment line, right? Because he gonna be pariah. Because he's stupid. Every week, there are no more bye weeks, I don't think. Every week, he gonna keep trying to not talk about Shedeur. He gonna keep seeming sad that Shedeur is doing well. What y'all think Vegas gonna do next time Shedeur play somebody? Like, are they gonna take it seriously based on his skill set and go, well, uh, yeah, it might be a close game. Shedeur gonna give him a run for his money. Let's see. Because see, this time they said both teams were sorry and it was a 3-point, but the Browns would lose. They were on pace for 5 touchdowns and probably 300 yards. And Jerry Judy was used to stop that. It sounded like Tilma was too. It said, all chickens will come home to roost. Stay tuned. Yep. It said, you have to be Ray Charles. Hell, I said Stevie Wonder could see that Jerry Judy dropped that damn ball. To stop running on purpose. He sure did. It said, moonwalking is what we call that. Oh, moonwalking? Okay, why y'all call it that? It said 2 top receivers stopping on their routes. That doesn't happen in the NFL, but twice is suspicious. Totally agree. I'm going to say that. Totally agree. A whole lot of backsliding taking place. Yep, that's it. Backsliding. That's what you call it. I like that. Okay. It said you really thought provoking tonight. Got me second thinking everything. Yeah, you should, because this situation is fluid, right? It's fluid. The way it started, we far from that. We far from everybody being on the same page. When they made Kevin Stefanski give up the head calling after Flacco, I think left after Flacco was benched, and Stefanski keeps saying stuff gonna happen and it don't happen. I'm like, when does he realize that they vetoing him? And tonight to have Deshaun, and I don't know who knew, but for people to tell us, oh, Andrew Berry wanted Deshaun to make the trip. He wanted him around the team, and he wanted him to help Shedeur. I'm like, oh, okay, that's different. Because we know they don't normally like that. And then we see this embrace in the locker room, like Shedeur is the nephew and Andrew Berry is the cousin or the uncle that's going to take care of his nephew and make sure he's good, which is what I asked. Right? So he owes him that. We're going to see. And then don't forget, Coach Prime was in the tunnel. They didn't have to allow that. I was actually shocked. So it said, hey, y'all, Andrew has been his day one. Andrew has made a pivot. When they got to the Panthers game, he felt, when he ran over there to thank Shedeur, that's why I showed both clips. When he ran over to thank Shedeur, Andrew Berry got thrown under the bus when Haslam spoke out and said, nah, that was his pick. See, they did the same thing with Deshaun. See, they use Andrew Berry for people to beat up on him to say he make bad deals. I hear them say that all the time. And I've heard them say how they feel like this draft class, he did a good job, but Deshaun was trash. And I'm like, he did not do that. But that's what Haslam played. He played them off each other. He has played both of them in just this season alone. And you could see he was aligned and happy with Stefanski holding back Shedeur. But you saw when he pivoted. When he showed up with them kids, that was a photo op. And Bucky was there. That was his first time filming for them. And then he wasn't there last week when the robbery happened. But he back today. I find that very interesting. But I think Shedeur got some kind of evidence because he pre-draft with them. If Shedeur sues, that's evidence. You think he don't have text messages, voicemails, phone calls, and all this stuff, and they flew him here, flew him there? They could look at anybody else and see that they pre-draft with him extensively, tied up to the date when Haslam said, we still got Deshaun. And you going to have Deshaun next year. But I bet you say you're going to get yourself a quarterback if Arch Manning coming out of school. So if you didn't care about Deshaun, if you don't care about Deshaun next year, say with Arch Manning coming out, then you lied. And you scapegoated Deshaun, and you made Andrew Berry look stupid, and you played Shedeur, and all three of them black. Shedeur was built for this. He had to get a little tougher, though. This was a tough one here. I don't even think a lot of adults been through the kind of stuff Shedeur has been through. I think he had to, I don't think anything his father taught him could prepare him for what the hell he has been through. I think God, all of that, he say he's going close in his faith. This is why, because he was gonna need it. What Shedeur has been through is not a cakewalk. Do y'all know they had I said I was gonna share the video. Y'all know they had what's her name? Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Remember, she was on, she's the black doctor, the psychologist or whatever, psychiatrist, psychologist, mental health professional. She was on, what's his name? Cam Newton's show. And after that, everybody kind of became familiar with her. Cleveland brought her in to meet with the rookies. And guess which rookie she was throwing a football with on the football field? Shedeur. And I said to myself, y'all got this black woman coming in, and the facilities is nice and everything. I said, y'all got this black woman coming in and throwing a football around with Shedeur and talking to Quishon because it was come talk to the rookies about mental health. I said, oh, God said help before you need it, right? And I said, if y'all do all of this dog and pony show, because she posted it this week, and I saw Shedeur, and he be studying like they said, and she took her jacket off. It was on the football field with Shedeur. And I was like, well, if anything happened in the Raiders game, and it's tough for him because they probably gonna set him up. He probably got her number directly. He could call her, right? I said, that made me feel better to know that they brought a black person in to meet with mostly black players about mental health and the challenges they could be facing. And it was out. She posted it after Shedeur had gotten robbed already. So I don't know where it came from. It seemed to me out the blue. She said she was thankful for the opportunity. I didn't see her throwing the football, nobody else, but I did see her when she was just talking with them. The other guys were there, but it was just kind of her and Shedeur for a minute. And I was like, he gonna be all right. So then when we now get to this game, what I said before this game was, if they bring this black woman in to talk to this kid, talk to these players and stuff like that, and Shedeur, and I see her with Shedeur one-on-one, and they go out there and they set him up, they some dirty dogs. They some dirty dogs. That means every damn thing that they do means nothing. It's to make you think that I'm with you. I'm on your side. Because they let him get set up by Stefanski and Jerry Judy and Tillman today. After you brought in a mental health professional and she was in the video throwing a ball with Shedeur one-on-one. She could have been throwing a ball with Quishon Junkins. She could have been throwing a ball with Isaiah Bond, but she wasn't. In her video, maybe there's a part about other people, but what she posted, it was Shedeur. And the robbery had already happened when I saw the video. And it looked like she had just posted it. And you saw what they did to him today. Shedeur is learning who it is he can and cannot trust in the NFL from the draft and right now in Cleveland, because he might be there again next year. It said that hug was more than a game and player hug. Yeah, it was like Shedeur was like, I did it. Because remember, Shedeur said he didn't think he did all that well in the Panthers game. I thought he did good, though. OG Tony Brown. Yep, he need to be back. Hey, Queen in chat, Shedeur told AB that when he get right, he gonna bring him the sauce. That's hilarious. What do you do in the dark comes into the light? That's facts. And it came out today. It said not giving him first team reps is going to hurt Kevin Stefanski. That's what they're gonna use to fire him. That's negligence. They wasted a 3rd round pick, facts, and humiliated 12, facts, during OTAs and minicamp in 11 games in the season. And don't forget, they had the little fake competition. They said Shedeur was drafted too low to pick his own jersey number, so they gave Travis his money, humiliated him damn near every day. It's documented. Dylan Gable was a QB3, QB2, had first team offense and defense. Shedeur was rewarded with only first team defense, but never first team offense. And then today, you go out here because you have to let him play because of pressure. And you set it up with 2 Wildcats so he can't get passing touchdowns. And then you enlist or just simultaneously, Jerry Judy stops running his route so he can't get another. So y'all talked about how to prevent Shedeur from having passing touchdowns so he could look good in the game so you could get Dylan back next week. Monday at 2, Wednesday by 5 p.m. And hell, by Friday, it's a whole lot that's going to be out there. It's buffering. Oh, okay. Well, that just means I probably need to get off. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to get out of here. Y'all said I'm starting to buffer. I guess I'll be back tomorrow. This was good, guys. This was good. This was good. This was good. This was really good. So we'll be back tomorrow. This was just a reaction. 300 of us. Hit the like button, please. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the new subs. I'm trying to get to, is it 6,000? I said, what was I say I was trying to get to? I got to figure it out. I don't know. 7,000. I don't know. I was trying to get to something. Anyway, I'll figure it out. I'm at 5,600. I think I'm trying to get to 5,700. Something like that. I'm going to let y'all know tomorrow, though. All right. So it's been a long day for me. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. This was good. Thank y'all so much for the engagement. The conversation continues. We're going to see by Monday at 2 o'clock what the hell has transpired. And by Friday, for sure. Wednesday, for sure, in the day. And by Friday. So I'll be back, guys. Thank y'all so much for the love and support and the engagement. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. 334 people, please hit the like button and please subscribe. And go shopping at whatshesaisports.com. Use my code NOLAGIRL at checkout. NOLAGIRL, all caps, all together. Get your next Shedeur tee by the next game because we do ship quickly. See y'all later. Have a good night, everybody.